Okay, so WrestleMania 41 Night 2 is over. It's in the books. The show's done. John Cena's the new WWE champion. And what did I think? Honestly, I'm kind of conflicted because the first half of WrestleMania Night 2 was perfect. Like, perfect. But then once we got into the second half, and more specifically the main event, it kind of fell apart for me. So much so that I think I can say that WrestleMania 41 overall was mid. And that's not to say that there weren't great moments and matches spread out throughout both nights, but overall as an album, like Triple H would say, I don't know if it completely worked. Without further ado, let's break down and review each match on WrestleMania 41 Night 2. I'm Brandon, and this is Wrestling Talk. I already made a video reviewing the full show for WrestleMania Night 1, check that out if you haven't already. So the first match of the night was for the Women's World Championship. It was another triple threat, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. I'll cut right to the chase. This match was amazing. From an in-ring standpoint, it's probably the best match of the entire WrestleMania card, and it might be my favorite match of the weekend. It's honestly between this and the main event of Night 1, Punk, Rollins, and Roman. It was fast-paced, it was kinetic, and really, it was anyone's game. There's really not much else to say. It was a perfect wrestling match. I'm leaning 5 out of 5 for it. I was really bummed that Bianca lost because not only did she lose the match, but now her undefeated WrestleMania streak is over, and she can't even say that she's never been pinned at WrestleMania before either because she took the pin in this match too. On top of that, the crowd was completely booing her the entire time, even though from a logical standpoint she was kinda the babyface here. But once the crowd started booing, you could tell she kinda shifted into a bit of a heelish persona. So with all of that going down in this match, you're basically confirming that Bianca is going to turn heel very soon. She is going to crash out and crash out hard. And in a way that kinda sucks because she was supposed to be the babyface in this situation given what she did at Elimination Chamber, but the audience just loved Io Sky and Rhea Ripley way more, and they needed someone to boo during the match, so if it's not going to be the stone cold badass figure or the lovable underdog, Bianca was kind of the odd man out. They're probably going to go the route of a Drew McIntyre or a Kevin Owens heel turn where she is a heel, but everything she's saying makes logical sense because she's right. I used to not be in favor of a Bianca heel turn, but at this point, I think you kinda have to do it. Either way though, the match was incredible. The main event of Night 1 had better storytelling, but in terms of in-ring quality, this match clears. Moving on to the next match, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. And this was exactly what it needed to be. It was pure chaos. There was tables, there were steel steps, there were chairs, there was some blood. I thought these two guys took a feud that didn't really have a whole lot of drama to it, and they really made the best out of it. Because while technically there is history between Drew and Damian, when you look at WrestleMania 40 and Clash at the Castle and Money in the Bank, there was never any drama between them. It was just the simple fact that Damian just happened to benefit from the Punk versus Drew feud. That's not necessarily a lot to work with, but I think the two guys took what little they had and made a pretty compelling feud, which resulted in a really fun match. I don't think it's one of the best no rules matches that we've seen in recent years. I think KO versus Sami Zayn in Elimination Chamber clears this, but it was definitely entertaining and one of the better matches of WrestleMania 41. I'm leaning 4.25 out of 5 for this one. I'm interested to see what Damian Priest does from here, because Drew McIntyre is obviously going to be a major player on SmackDown. I think Drew can definitely go and feud with Cody Rhodes and keep him busy while Cena is defending the title against Randy Orton and LA Knight and guys like that. But when it comes to Damian Priest, it feels like the only option is back in the mid-card scene and probably facing Jacob Fatu for the US title, which I guess that can be an awesome match, but Jacob Fatu's obviously going to win that, and then that would just push Damian Priest even further down the card. It's not looking great for Damian Priest in terms of getting back to that world title scene, which makes me think he might need to go heel at some point too. But moving on. Next up was the men's Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way, Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. This match, coupled with the two triple threats, were the top 3 matches of WrestleMania weekend. Easy. This match was insane. It was an absolute blast. Braun Breaker stole the whole show. He is a machine. Every move he does is just so impactful. Penta was great, Finn Balor was great. I loved that Dom got the win here. It's crazy that Dom Mysterio got a bigger babyface pop than Jey Uso. That's crazy. And what's even crazier to think about is your 2 men's champions on Monday Night Raw are now Jey Uso and Dominic Mysterio. I thought Penta was gonna get it, but in my heart I wanted Dom to get it, so I'm happy. Then we move on to the Randy Orton match, and I thought for sure it was going to be against Nick Aldis, but it ended up being Joe Hendry, and it was awesome. It popped me right out of my seat. I loved it. The match itself was very basic. It was very quick. It was all about the moment of Joe Hendry just coming out and then getting hit by an RKO. It was perfectly serviceable. It did exactly what it needed to do. I'm leaning 3.5 out of 5. Then we get into the bad part of the show. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. This match did nothing for me, which is crazy because this is a match I actually predicted back in like August or September of last year. I made a WrestleMania 41 prediction video back then, and this match and Charlotte versus Tiffany were the only 2 that I predicted in that video that actually ended up coming true 6 months later. And I for sure thought this match was going to be one of the better ones on the card. I was expecting it to be more in line with Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 39, but what we ended up getting was just kind of a nothing burger. Honestly, the most entertaining thing about it was just Logan Paul being Logan Paul. It wasn't even anything to do with his in-ring work. Don't get me wrong, it was fine, but there was nothing in this match that really stood out from an athletic standpoint. It kind of just felt like both guys were going through the motions, and honestly, AJ Styles didn't really impress me at all in this match. I thought one of the points of this feud was he was going to remind the world of who AJ Styles is, and to be honest, it was kind of underwhelming. I assume that Logan Paul is going to be Jey Uso's first challenger for the World Heavyweight title. I assume that's why he won here. But in terms of the match, I just felt nothing watching it. There was no heat. It was the first match of the night where you could tell the crowd was kind of exhausted and they just weren't into it. So honestly, I'm leaning 3.25. It just didn't really work for me. Then we move on to the women's tag team title match, Liv and Raquel versus Lyra and Becky Lynch. Now, I'm conflicted on this because I don't like that Bayley was just collateral damage in all this. Bayley almost main evented WrestleMania last year. She was the match right before Cody versus Roman, and this year she didn't make the card because WWE completely shat the bed with her babyface turn after she won the title from Io, to a point where by the time WrestleMania 41 came around, Bayley had nothing to do. Even when the match was first announced, Bayley and Lyra teaming up, I thought was so strange. It was random. I wanted Lyra to be defending her title at WrestleMania, but then to see Bayley just not included at all was so weird. It did make for a good moment though that got leaked like a day or 2 in advance, and I like that Becky and Lyra are kind of forming a relationship on TV. I think that can lead to some good long-term storytelling down the line. It's interesting that Lyra in her first WrestleMania is already Lyra 2 belts technically. I'm interested to see what they do with that because she'll have to be defending the IC title and the women's tag team titles. That's going to be a lot. And honestly, I wanted Liv and Raquel to retain here. I think they're very entertaining as a tag team, but I understand that you kind of, again, got to build this long-term storytelling with Becky and Lyra, which will eventually lead to a big match, probably at WrestleMania 42. In terms of the actual match, though, it was fine. It kind of just felt like a Monday Night Raw match. But with the return of Becky Lynch, it did have a little bit more excitement to it. So I thought it was a very middle-of-the-road match in terms of the entire WrestleMania card. I'm probably leaning just a solid 3.5. Okay, now let's talk about the main event. I'm just going to cut to the chase. I didn't like it at all. Now, before everyone says that I didn't get it or I didn't understand it, I understood that it is in line with John Cena's character who wants to ruin wrestling by not giving the audience anything that they want. You know, quoting his promo, "You get nothing." So the entrance was just blacked out with the John Cena text. He came out, he didn't do any emoting, he was just wearing black. And then once the match started, it was very slow. John Cena didn't work off the crowd at all. After every move he hit, he would take like a good 15 seconds to just kind of stand there, which resulted in a very weird pace. And then you get to the ending of the match and you were expecting like The Rock to show up, and all you got was Travis Scott. I really don't like that at all. It just feels like he's paying to be there. And I especially don't like that he hasn't been on WWE TV since the Elimination Chamber. So it's not even like he was a part of this build and he was kind of a character in there. He just feels like this goofball that's only showing up for the major events because that's where he'll get the biggest reach. And honestly, having The Rock not there is such a big mistake. It really makes you wonder, what the heck was the point of him being at Elimination Chamber at all? What was the point of Cena aligning with The Rock at all? If we're going off of the main event, I guess it means, hey, if I align with The Rock at WrestleMania, Travis Scott will help me? I liked the end result of the match. I liked John Cena winning because that's just the more exciting option. If Cody Rhodes won, it would have been kind of boring. But in trying to stay true to John Cena's new mantra of ruining wrestling and not giving the audience what they want, they ended up crafting a match that was boring and slow and underwhelming and weird, and especially compared to all of the other matches on the card, nothing really happened in it. Initially, there was a rumor that his heel turn was supposed to happen at WrestleMania itself, and for whatever reason, they decided to do it at the Elimination Chamber instead. Honestly, I feel like it would have been better if the heel turn happened here. Because when you think about it, Cena won the Elimination Chamber clean. He didn't cheat, he was just being opportunistic when he choked out Punk. So there was no reason for him to turn heel on Cody Rhodes after he already won the Elimination Chamber. He already won his shot to WrestleMania, and if he's being a heel, why would he just show all of his cards and low blow Cody just cuz? If that didn't happen and him and Cody just kind of had a babyface versus babyface feud leading into Mania, I assume the problem would be the fans would probably kind of boo Cody, but that was going to happen anyway because Cena is a full-on heel now and people were cheering him when he won the title because people wanted to see John Cena win that 17th title and they were going to cheer no matter what. So maybe having Cena face Cody really wasn't a good decision at all if you wanted to keep Cody from getting booed. But anyway, if he never turned heel at the Chamber, you could have had him going into WrestleMania one last time with all the John Cena garb and the colors and the pageantry, and then he turns heel in order to win the WrestleMania match. That would have made sense. Because the end result was a very lame main event. Like, I'm not going to rewatch this at all unless I have to. The match never kicked into second gear. It was always just stuck in first. In terms of a star rating, honestly, I'm leaning like 2.75. It just didn't really work for me. But that's it. That is my official review of WrestleMania 41 Night 2. In terms of the best matches of the weekend, it's Punk, Roman, and Seth, Bianca, Rhea, and Io, and the men's Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way. Those, in my opinion, were the top 3 matches. But what did you think? Comment below, let me know your ranking from best match to worst, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.